Om. 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 Sai Ram. In discussing the almost last section of, I think, chapter 21, I think we had lots of discussion about the right, left being the Nirguna Upasana, left leg being Saguna Upasana. The right leg is needed, the Nirguna Upasana, for us to attain moksha. But until we reach that stage, both Saguna and Nirguna help us to move forward in the journey. These were some of the topics which we discussed. So I will ask the sisters to continue from where we left off. Sire.
Each member of all living species has many-sided love toward offspring, parents, comforts, and guards its food and drink, its joys and plays. Each of these types of love or attachment has a distinct name suited to the objects on which it is fixed. It is called affection when directed towards offspring. It is named infatuation when it is directed towards persons who are less fortunate, comradeship when flowing towards equals, attachment when extended to goods or places. It becomes fascination in some cases, friendship in others. When it is directed towards elders and teachers and parents, it becomes reverence, humility, etc. But bhakti is a word that is used only with reference to love as directed to the Lord. When this love is broken up into many streams, flowing in many directions and towards many points, it causes only grief, for it gets fixed on mortal things of the moment. Instead, allow the love to flow single-pointedly to the ocean of the Lord's grace. This is the sadhana called bhakti. Why waste life in the salty marsh of samsara? Strive rather to reach the vast ocean of grace. There you realize yourself. You attain Sat Chit Anandam, being awareness bliss. How holy is that consummation? How filled with bliss. The Gopikas strove and succeeded in this sadhana. Every moment, under every condition, every thought, word, and deed of the Gopikas was dedicated to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. That is why the Gopikas are called yogis. When Lord Krishna himself addresses the gopis as yogis, you can gauge the height of spiritual sadhana they had achieved.
Thank you, Kalyani. Auntie, we will read the Telugu. It's okay.
Sairam. ఆయా జీవరాశులు అన్నిటికీ తమ తమ బిడ్డలపై, తల్లిదండ్రులపై, మిత్రులపై, వస్తు వాహనాదులపై, తిండి తీర్థాదులపై పరిపరి విధముల ప్రేమ ప్రవహించుచుండును. ఆయా జీవరాశులు.
In this, every living species or living being,
తమ తమ బిడ్డలపై,
for all of them, on their children, offspring,
తల్లిదండ్రులపై,
on their parents, mother and father,
మిత్రులపై,
on their friends,
వస్తు వాహనాదులపై,
on worldly possessions and vehicles,
తిండి తీర్థాదులపై,
on their food and drink,
పరిపరి విధముల ప్రేమ ప్రవహించుచూ ఉండును.
various ways the love is actually flowing towards them.
దీనిని బట్టి తగిన నామములో,
according to this, appropriate names
నియమములుగొచున్నవి.
నియమములుగుచున్నవి.
నియమములుగొచున్నవి. There is a rule, there is a...
Yeah, according to their appropriate names have been prescribed for that.
Yeah. అన్నిటికీ భక్తి అని చెప్పవేయలేదు.
For all this, one cannot say it is devotion.
అది సరి అయినది కాదు.
That is not correct.
తమ ప్రేమ తమ బిడ్డలపై మరలినప్పుడు,
when their love is focused on their children,
అట్టి ప్రేమ వాత్సల్యమని పిలువబడును.
that love is called vatsalya, that is love towards children.
అదే ప్రేమ దాయాదులపై తిరిగినప్పుడు,
when that love is given I don't know, expressed with compassion.
అదే దాయాదులు అంటే
relatives aunty.
దయాది means cousins and are called దయాది. దయా లేదు, దాయాదు.
దాయాది. sorry
కరెక్ట్. దాయాదులు పై తిరిగినప్పుడు మోహం అని పిలువబడును.
It's called infatuation when it is described.
Yeah, when it flows towards own relatives. One's own relatives. అటులనే దీనులపై పడినప్పుడు కరుణ అని.
When it's expressed towards people who are unfortunate or downtrodden, it's called compassion.
కరుణ. సమానులపై చూపునప్పుడు మైత్రి అని.
When it is shown to people of equal status, it is called friendship.
వస్తు వాహనములపై పడినప్పుడు ఇచ్ఛ అని.
When the same love is shown towards objects and things, it is called desire. వాంఛ or ఇచ్ఛ అని అందరు. Yeah, it's called desire or
Vancha here also seeking or intense passion, can we say?
Yeah, okay, I think so. Yes, auntie.
అయితే పూజ్యనీయులైన తల్లిదండ్రులపై
but when it is for people who are greater,
for elders, విద్యా గురువులైన ఆచార్యులపై,
on the teachers and gurus who are teaching you, granting you knowledge,
ఈ ప్రేమ ప్రవహించిన దానిని గౌరవమనియు.
when it is love is expressed, it is called respect.
వినయమనియు,
as humility.
విధేయత,
obedience
అనియు అందరూ.
These are 3 different names given to love, which is shown towards elders and gurus.
I think we should stop here and then discuss about these Sanskrit words.
Yes, auntie. Anyone who would like to comment on any thing which you have?
There are lots of differences. Vatsalya, Maitri, Moha, Karuna, and then Ichcha, Vancha, and then Gauravam, Vinayam. So many new words, but each one is towards different not objects, different relationships, what's they have.
Yes. Swami seems to be using prema as equivalent of devotion itself, the same that energy from us. But then when it's directed at different things in this world,
Mm.
different relationships. Swami has given various names.
Yeah. But is it not called Vatsalya Bhakti? What you cannot call them. That's Vatsalyam, Maitri, Moha.
So each of this, when pointed to God, with that I think relationship, they become bhakti itself. Yeah, that's
For example, Vatsalya Bhakti, Surdas, and others who treated
Yashoda,
Gopikas, Yashodas, they all treated Lord as their own child. That's called Vatsalya Bhakti, Vatsalyam. And for all these things, we have examples.
Yes,
Maitri is friendship, Sneha Bhakti. Arjuna was friendly towards Krishna. That's Maitri.
Swami saying it's called moha when expressed towards relatives.
I think it's attachment. I think attachment may be a better word. I said infatuation, not.
Infatuation is not correct. Yeah, moha is
relatives.
attachment is better.
Wouldn't it also be attachment in all these other cases as well? Like, wouldn't the thinking that your children are your own, or like the vahana vastu, like all of that, isn't that all fall under moha a little bit?
See, actually, moha is infatuation. Means you are. I think because attachment auntie is also with things also. It's attachment. I think there's no equivalent English word. Moha means ultimately you think they're there forever. They belong to you. That you are theirs. That kind of interrelationship.
And at the same time, expecting something from them also.
Yes.
Expectation is also involved with attachment, I think.
Yeah, children also, Kalyani, when they are younger, in the infancy, there's Vatsalya. But later on, that also can become Moha.
Moha.
When children become adult, it becomes Moha. Give me a minute. Anyone else would like to share anything, please?
Sai Ramana.
Sai.
Yeah. So, as I was seeing, whether you call it Vatsalyam or Moham or Gauravam, Abhimanam, whatever we want to call, the undercurrent of being attached to them is always there. That is where I think Swami is talking about all of that being detached and being solely attached to him through bhakti as the summon substance of that. So more evolving from a framework that it's the basic level of attachment that takes different forms based on the relationship that is associated between individuals. But in essence, the undercurrent is that attachment. Like if you look at that, yeah, in the broader sense of the thing, it is one way or the other, it falls under the superset of being attached to people defined through relationships. So I think ultimately, though there's a play of words that would define that relationship as a form of attachment, ultimately, I think it just leads to bhakti being that parama prema kind of a relationship. So attachment will be there, whether you call it vatsalyam or gauravam or anything else. It's just the form of the attachment or the way it is defined, one with reverence, one with humility, one with absolute like yeah, where the dependency level is there in the case of Vatsalyam. So I think, yeah, that's what I was seeing.
Also, I think relates to us identifying ourselves as the body or mind. So once we do that, only we have these relationships. Once we identify ourselves with Atma, and then there is no relationship per se, because the relationship is only at the body level, physical level also. So I think that's another aspect.
In the case of Acharyas, when we are showing Gauravam and Vinayam and Vidheyata, is there any attachment there?
Auntie, Arjuna demonstrated that he did not want to, he was worried about killing Bhishma, Drona, and all of them.
Oh, there he
Yeah, so,
he demonstrated.
yes, even there, your sense of right and wrong, dharma, adharma, all come into confusion, which is what happened to Arjuna. I think he was more worried about Bhishma and Drona than Duryodhanas.
Yes, correct.
Yes, Brother Dasan.
Yes, I am, brother. So everyone has love. Everyone knows what is love. But Swami is saying you're supposed to develop the selfless attachment with God. That is called bhakti. But the selfless attachment with God, love with bhakti, we are showing into the different path. For an example, with object, affection, friendship, and humility. So we are diverting our love into a different thing. Because of that, it's all impermanent, that we are getting into the trouble. But when we focus on the one pointness of the bhakti, that is the towards with the love, with that love is going to lead us to the bliss and the self-realization. That is only bhakti with Lord. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brothers, thank you. Is there anyone else has anything to share? If we can proceed until.
Yeah. Next paragraph. కానీ ఒక భగవంతునిపై మాత్రము ప్రవహించిన ప్రేమయే భక్తి అని పిలువబడును.
But the love which is directed towards Lord alone is called bhakti, devotion.
చాలా చీలికలుగా ఏర్పడి, చీలికలు అంటే I think
drops or something.
I mean, it is cut into different this thing. చీలికలు చాలా చీలికలుగా ఏర్పడి క్షీణించి
which deteriorate or depreciate.
అశాంతి దుఃఖములకు చిక్కుకొని,
Ashanti, this lack of peace or sorrow, through that it's affected, or it's getting caught in it.
దుఃఖములకు చిక్కుకొని విలపించుట కంటే feeling sorry,
and getting it, then escaping from that, something like that.
Hello.
చిక్కుకొని విలపించుట కంటే విలపించడం అంటే is it not
one second, I'll check, auntie.
Okay.
Sitaram is not there, I guess.
Vilapam, yeah, Sitaram is
Vilapinchu.
దుఃఖించడం.
To lament, wail, mourn, weep.
మార్నింగ్
Lament, okay, lament.
lament. విలపించుట కంటే విలాపం, we say the
Okay.
word విలాపం.
Okay.
విలపించుట కంటే ఏకముఖమున తన ప్రేమ ప్రవాహమును
With one pointedness, one's flow of love,
భగవత్ అనుగ్రహమును సాగరమును చేరినట్లు
to join or to reach the ocean of God's grace.
అట్లు చేయు సాధనకే భక్తి అందురు.
So such a type of sadhana is called bhakti.
సంసార సాగరమును చేరి
In the joining the ocean of existence,
నిస్సారమొకట కన్నా
that meaninglessness on this
ఎసెన్స్లెస్
yeah,
నిస్సారం ఎసెన్స్లెస్ సర్వేషానుగ్రహ సాగరమును చేరి
means the into that ocean of God's grace, joining that or reaching that.
సర్వేషానుగ్రహ సాగరమును చేరి సార్థకమగుట.
So having it's attaining meaning or making it meaningful.
సార్థకమగుట, fulfilling there.
Fulfilling.
Or worthy of it. சார்த்தகமகுட்ட என்ன சொல்லியிருக்கான்?
Sarthakam means
fulfillment.
Fulfillment தான், அது correct. Fulfillment.
Sarthakam.
Worthy of it, I think.
Sarthaka means meaningful in the mari. Arthaka, so it's fulfillment also.
Sa arthaka sarthaka. సచ్చిదానందమును పొందుట.
And attaining Satchit Ananda.
ఎంత పవిత్రము.
How blessed is it? How pure is it?
జన్మ ధన్యము.
Life is blessed.
అదే ఆనందము.
That is bliss.
ఈ విధమైన ప్రయత్నములతో
In this kind of effort, with this kind of
efforts, సాధించి సంతసించిన వారే గోపికలు.
Doing sadhana and deriving joy are the gopikas.
తరించిన వారే గోపికలు.
Thus crossing over, escaping also are gopikas.
గోపికల యొక్క మనోవాక్కాయ కర్మలన్నీ
the actions of the gopikas in mind, speech and deed.
సర్వకాల సర్వ అవస్థలందును
At all times and on all states of existence.
కృష్ణ చరణారవిందములందు
At the feet of Sri Krishna's, the lotus feet of Krishna's,
అర్పితములగుచుండెడివి.
is offered, completely offered.
Offerings, they were all offerings. కనుకనే గోపికలు యోగులని పిలువబడెను.
Therefore, gopikas are called yogis.
కృష్ణ పరమాత్మే గోపికలను యోగులని పిలువలనన్నా,
if Krishna himself addressed them as yogis,
అడ్రస్ గోపీస్, వారిది ఎంతటి పవిత్ర హృదయమో యోచించుడు.
their hearts how pure and divine you can imagine.
That's it. Sign up.
When Swami's talking about the gopikas, is it present tense?
What is it?
Is Swami talking about gopikas in present tense or something?
He addresses them as yogis.
Like where it says Tarinchi, Navare, and Sunset.
Tarinchinavar.
They have people who have crossed over.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's past tense actually. You have completed the crossing.
Okay.
Who uplifted themselves. So, something like that. Tarinjinavara means saved, auntie. Saved?
Yeah, saved in it. Crossover.
Crossover is better, Tarinjina.
Tarinchinavar.
And sorry, could you just translate one more time the second sentence, the starting with Chala, Chili, Kaluga?
One నిమిషం. ఒక్క భగవంతునిపై మాత్రము ప్రవహించిన ప్రేమయే భక్తి అని పిలువబడును. It's called, please go ahead and.
Okay.
చాలా చీలికలుగా ఏర్పడి.
So on ఒక్క భగవంతునిపై పాత్రము, on God alone.
That single pointed bhakti, which they show.
Pravinjan Preme Bhakti, the one which flows towards that is called Bhakti. Chala
చీలికలుగా.
So they are actually small parts actually. Chilika and me, auntie.
Sairam, I think chilikalu means shreds. Shredding.
Shreds, yeah, in a small sliver, something like a small slice apart.
Broken up into different many parts. Chilikalu. Kshininchi
Erpadi. Oh, I see. So basically something which gets frayed and becomes kshininchi means it gets wasted. And enduku koraka. And what is enduku koraka?
Enduku korakaka. For useless, for any useful or anything.
Oh, I see.
Enduku korakaka.
It will become useless for anything.
For anything. Ashanti dukkamaluku chikkukoni.
Oh, I see. It will get caught in peacelessness and sorrow.
Vilapinchuta kante, instead of feeling sad.
Lamentable.
Lamenting, instead of lamenting, ekamukamana tana prema pravahumanu bhagvat anugrahamanu sagaram. Idi prema pravaham, it's a stream of love, prema, and which reaches Bhagavan anugraha, the grace of the Lord. It's an ocean of the grace of the Lord. Cherunatlu cheyu sadhaname bhakti. That is real love.
What Swami is saying, when love is spread out to many of these things, it becomes frayed. It becomes small, and then it gets wasted also.
Correct.
And then it becomes useless for anything. And then you get lack of peace in your mind, and then you get sorrow, sadness, and then everything becomes futile, and you will lament about it. Instead of doing that, instead of wasting your love on all these things in this manner, if it's focused one-pointedly on God alone, then Swami says that's called bhakti.
Sairam, the one-pointedness tells you that is to focus on the permanent. Right? Here, Swami says, if you divide it into so much things, then you are getting into the impermanent things, right? So that's cause you trouble. So one-pointedness will take you to the one permanent thing. Then I just wanted to know, is there in the translation, it says, why waste life in salty samsara? Is that is correct?
Swami is talking about samsara sagavanamna cheri. Nissaramugattakanna. That Nissara Mutakanna, I think they have called, he's called it salty, tasteless. Without.
That this sentence is right in the translation. Is it giving a meaning to what Swami is
Yes,
mentioning?
yes. No, its translation is reasonably okay.
So I'm just thinking about our life then.
Yes, Swami says we are running towards the salty waters instead of going towards Prema Sagara, God.
Yes. Of samsara. Okay. In that sense, okay.
Yes, Sister Ananthi.
Thank you.
Sairam, brothers and sisters, I need a little clarification in the second paragraph. In our life cycle, we go through all these different relationships. For example, the parents, children, and also the colleagues, the friends, and teachers, gurus, and so many the respectable people. But Swami is telling that if we maybe if we have love in different directions, I agree that it may not be flown in one direction forcefully. It would be like different streams. But practically in our life, we have to go through all these different streams. Say, for an example, we can leave out our immediate, maybe children, maybe grandchildren or friends. At least our parents, teachers, and elders. Swami has already told that Mada, Pita, Guru, Devam. These Mada, Pita, Guru, these three categories are equivalent to the God. So the way Swami said, maybe my understanding, it could be different. Maybe rather than having relationship or the respect and love, to these people, give only our love, or maybe the bhakti focused on God. How practically we can apply this one, without having any love into those different streams? How can we achieve our the goal of life with happiness moving forward? That's my question. Theoretically, we can tell that put all our love towards the goal, but we have to go through all these different channels to get into the path of life at the end of the cycle. So how we can have maybe little techniques, to either get rid of those relationships, or how to overcome those to get into this destination. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Sister. So Sister Anandi has asked a very practical question. Swami is telling that we should not waste this in all this. But how is practical is it? If we try to do that, our life will be, quite unhappy. I think that's possibly, it may not be possible to do that. So I will open it up for discussion. Others can share your thoughts.
Sakku auntie is waiting.
No, Sakku auntie, do you have a question or an answer, auntie?
I have a question.
Okay, then let's wait.
Whatever Anandi has been asking you.
Yes.
In real Hindu Shastras, according to it, we have Brahmacharyam, Grihasthan, Vanaprastham, and Sannyasam. So, when you pass your Brahmacharyam, you get into Grihaprastham. And what happens when you have kids, and then you have your relationship is expanded, and according to what Baba is saying or Krishna is saying, you have to focus only one-pointed love towards God. The rest, you do your duties and perform your duties. Arandi is asking how it is practicable for anyone to do that. I am also asking the same questions. When you have grandchildren, when you have children, how is it possible? Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. So Auntie is echoing Sister Anandi's question. It's a good question, and I think all of us should discuss and be clear. Otherwise, we have not understood what Swami has tried to say. So I will open it up for discussion. Anyone, any thought? Yes, Brother Thasan.
Yes, I am, brother. Even Lord Krishna said, when he is with the Pandava and that time, I'm doing all the actions. I'm with you all, but I don't have the attachment. But the problem is, we say love all, serve all. Are we showing the love with everyone? But we are differentiating. Our kids, we are showing different love, and the next door house, we are showing different love. We are differentiating. So we have to do that unconditional love. Then how you can develop it unconditional love? Without the words, thoughts, deeds, one-pointedness with the Lord only. But we are differentiating. So in order to do that one, even the grandkids or anything, you do your duty without the attachment. In that way, we can overcome these problems. Thank you, Sairam, brother.
Thank you, brother. But just a question, brother. How do we know that we are not attached?
No, if we are finding sometime so excited, or sometime we are so sad, that means you are attached. If we don't have the attachment, we are not going to affect at anything. That's what we have to develop. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. So Brother Dasan has said, we should do it as our action and not with attachment. And that's what Swami is asking. Anyone else like to share?
Yeah, Swami is giving here the definition of what bhakti is. So in the all these other the relationships we have with others, that is Maitri, and then Vatsalyam, Moham, and Icha, Vancha. All these have got, Swami says, Tagina Namamulu, Niyamuglagunavi. It has been given different names. That love which we have for others is given the different names for different persons, how we are related. But real bhakti, you call it only towards the Lord if you have single pointed, that love for Lord, that is called bhakti. And that's what he is trying to tell us. But for everyday relationship with our children, grandchildren, relatives, we have to maintain that kind of prema, what we call love towards them. Definitely we have to do that. We are in this world, and we have to show this compassion, friendship, and vatsalyam towards every. It's a kind of attachment also, but it cannot be called bhakti.
But now, Sairam, now we always studying that Swami in everybody, right? So whenever you are doing that, think that Swami is in everyone, and do it accordingly. So there won't be any differentiation, no attachment, or that Swami's attachment would be there all the time. That's how I will look at it. Thank you, Sairam.
So sister, does it mean that There's Swami will be a little more in people who are related to us and a little less in others.
Brother, I want, can you clarify your question, please?
No, I asked,
Yeah.
if Swami is in everyone means,
Yes.
again, we are back to, if your parents, we have to, I think Stanandi was telling, Matrudeva Bhava, Pitrudeva Bhava. So that means, do we have to think that there's a little more Swami in our own parents compared to parents of other people?
No. The Lord is one, okay, and you have to see as one. So whatever you're doing, that is the set of mind you have to have.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you.
Yes, Brother Sai Satish.
Saramana. So we have duty without love is deplorable. Duty with love is desirable. Love without duty is divine. So in that context, as long as we do anything out of whatever we do with no expectation, with the string of expectation that is attached to what we do, whether it is with our parents or with our teachers or our relatives or our children, however it is, we do that love without duty kind of a thing where it is done with that thing of no expectation. Because every time when we do, automatically it comes to, you have the full control over your action, but not the fruits of the action. So if we can embrace it with that approach, and we also know about earlier thing we have discussed, like what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa would say, that there's this maid servant who comes to this house of the owner, and she does all the work there. She takes care of the children of the owner as if they are her own children. But in the back of her mind, she knows that she has her home there where she has her own children and her own life to lead. So even as we go about consciously with whatever we do, giving our 100%, but we have that whatever we do ultimately as an offering, even as we do in a physicality sense to that person, like what Sister Arna was also saying, that in offering to the Swami within them, extending it to a framework that it's unconditional and that love. So it is like you're tying up that love which can flow in different directions with a sense of expectation which can get dissipated. Instead of that, you every time channelize it that this is an offering to Swami, this is for you, Swami. I don't have any expectation coming of this. This is an offering, this is an offering. And keep doing every action that we undertake on a day-to-day basis with that focus that Swami is the one who is ultimately receiving it. With that focus, if we keep, then it can lead to every time the mind having that thought of an offering to Swami, which is channelizing every small brook of love that can go away into one strong current of one thing that flows into that ocean of divine love.
Thank you very much, Satish. So I think maybe I'll post the question slightly differently. See, Swami has given us this theory, and then Swami has given the example as the Gopikas. So I think the question we have to ask is, what would the Gopikas have done? Or how did they do? Because ultimately that's the example Swami has. See, he has given the theory and then he has given the example. So can we say, oh, Gopikas, this is what they did, we are seeing, in our husband, I am seeing Krishna and I am serving. Did they serve like that? Or did they say, oh, in our child there is Krishna, I am serving Krishna? Did the Gopikas think like that? Or was it something different? Because that's what we are saying we are doing. Because in this world, if you ask everyone in this world, they will say we are looking after our family with love. It is our duty. What can we do? So then Swami is saying this as an example. Then we will be complacent, We will just imagine that there is Swami in our family members, our relatives, and so on. Is this the way Gopikas thought and acted? I think that's we can ask ourselves. So I'll stop there.
Sairam brother, Gopikas, their mind is always with the Lord. They surrender everything to the Lord. But we are not surrendering everything. So most of the time we are spending the love with worldly things, and we don't have time to even worship the Lord in the morning, because we say work is worship. We say kids are important, grandkids are important. You spend all the time with your own kids. Now you are spending the time with the grandkids, and where's the time for you to pray the Lord? Where the develop your love with Lord? So you have to get the example of Gopikas. Their mind is with the Lord always, and they surrender everything to the Lord, and they develop the love that way. Thank you, Brother Saira.
Sairam, brother, thank you. Anyone else would like to share?
Brother, why don't you tell us what the Gopika's mindset is?
Sister, everyone knows what the Gopikas are. At least we have read. So we should. Yes, Auntie Saku.
Yeah,
Auntie Saku is a Gopala. Saku Gopal. That's what it says. So she is a Gopika herself. Yes, Auntie, go ahead.
This is very clear now, because as we go on, we surrender every action of ours, every thought of ours, every word of ours. This is a practical lesson for us to do at all times. Then it becomes one-pointed, single-pointedly. We are dedicating everything to the Lord. Lord Krishna, Lord Baba. I think all your explanations has really given us an insight into it. And I don't know if you have anything more, or Bachemanti, you have anything more? Please let us know.
Yes, Uncle Gopalan, please go ahead. Oh, Auntie Kamala, I don't know who's raised the hand. You have to unmute and speak.
Oh, sorry. So
Yes,
I little knowledge I have. So I was thinking about God gave children, and through you to make them grow. Make them grow, and that's a duty. So of course you have a love for the children and the parents and everything, but when it comes to God's love, that's bhakti. And bhakti is only you and God can have. Just like a Meera, just like Gopikas and those people, only for bhakti towards, they see Swami Krishna in everything, even leaves and flowers and mountains and all those things. They always thinking about Krishna. So what we have a duty to look after the parents, look after the children and grandchildren. That is the duty. I think that's what I think. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone else?
Sairam.
Yes,
No,
sister.
I was thinking that line, when this love is broken up into many streams flowing into many directions, it's only grief. And it's such a great question. And I was thinking, oh my God, so we love our kids and kin. We are a social being. We live in this world in Kali Yuga. And in the past, we have read about, and the homework we did is how we can see divinity in others. And in us, we can't see divinity in others if we don't have love towards them, right? So all these questions were coming when you pose these questions. And my interpretation with my little mind is, as I think many of us have alluded towards, there is a return. When we have that love, there is some kind of expectation to return. But when we develop love with Bhagawan, you don't detach yourself with that. I think Gopikas, if I recall, I think you related long time back, I don't know in what context, when Uddhava said, let me give you the jnana, and they said, no, tell us how we can attain Bhagavan. So if he's a flower, we would like to be a bee. If he's a mountain, we would like to be some river, something. So there's no detachment, like no return, but no detachment. So in practical aspect, we have to love our family, start with that, but not expecting, as I think many of us have said, that there is, when we don't emotionally attach with them, we just love them. And I have learned through this study circle that there was a struggle. Do we love our family, or we are attached? So there was a question, oh, I don't want to love my family. My love is only towards Bhagavan. I can't love my family. So it means I am so cold towards them. No, I have to love them, but I'm not attached with their ups and downs. It doesn't affect me. That's love towards family, kids, kin, friends, and all of those things. But the love towards Lord is how to express. It's just you just don't see separation there. And eventually that love grow to the level that you start seeing people around you, your kids, your family members, every word is coming out of their mind. It's Lord's love, Lord's words. I don't know if I've explained, but I tried.
Thank you very much, sister.
Saira,
yes, sister, go ahead.
As a follow-up, the point, I still remember that in this study circle, or maybe the other, the Vahini's study circle, at one point, we studied that God has given these relationships as training tools for us. Maybe when God created the human, he may be wondering, these people, they may not know what is love, and that's why maybe just to feel, what is love, and to develop the true love, the God has given little tools, from the time of the birth, it's like the love to parents, love to, all kind of relationship, friends, the colleagues and the gurus and the elders and all those things. Those are gradually to develop ourselves, to feel the love. And once we are trained, we don't need those kinds of temporary training tools. Once we are trained, we have to give up all the tools, and we are ready to move forward with the ultimate tool, that is the bhakti, to reach the destination. I just remember, either I have read somewhere, or maybe we have discussed in the one of our study circles. These are all of the the different the relationships, the love. Those are training tools for us to feel the love and to move forward. Once it's done, that is the ultimate bhakti to the God. Maybe you just want to share that though. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, Sister Ananthi. Yes, Sister Shivani.
Just to add to that, I missed the point. My interpretation is also, when we define different types of love, like attachment or fascination or infatuation, they are love, but they're not pure love. So my understanding is how, of course, we can love people, but how we can convert those attachments into pure love. So I don't think Bhagawan is saying don't love all these, but change those love or attachment into pure love. So start seeing, convert into the purity. When it's become pure, then definitely God is around us. He's in every being, every living and long living thing. So I think he's not saying do not waste your time, but he's in a saying, don't waste your time by seeing attachment, don't break them in pieces, but to convert all those things into a purity, pure one love. So it's just the love, pure love, no other things. So,
yeah, I would like to add one more thing. Don't get stuck there in that love of the family, love of the relatives. Get over that, and then, as all of you are saying, it's a tool. It's a training ground. Family is a training ground. And this world is a training ground for all of us to learn what real bhakti means. So it can be channelized towards real bhakti, towards the Lord. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Sai. Anyone else?
No, it's your turn.
No, because I don't. Well, I tend to talk too much, so I thought I will wait everyone. See, the thing is, whenever we think in the name of duty, I think, I don't know. Yeah, someone said, I think Sister Shivani was telling, we have to do our duty. We should not be affected by the ups and downs of others around us. So I think one of the things which we forget is what is duty towards anyone, whether children and so on. Generally, if we provide the basic necessities, our duty is actually done. The rest of it is what happens is our children or relatives, so they may be chasing the world, please, success. And they may need our support to chase that. And then we all go along with them. And then that is when they go down, we also go down. When they go up, we go up. So sometimes we forget where our duty stops. And another thing is, whatever we do to others, we should not seek joy, happiness from that. See, we will say, oh, if our child does this well, then I will be happy. Or, if somebody is keeping healthy all the time, I'll be happy. So we sometimes make our happiness dependent on other people's state of being. So these two, so we need to sort of separate our depending on other things and other people for our own happiness. Because sometimes that is what becomes, our happiness becomes dependent on their happiness or their ups or their downs. And so then what happens, it just completely engulfs us. Then we will we'll worry about everyone's future. Not about our future. Everyone's future we'll worry. Oh, what will happen to our children, our children's children? Should I put some, money for them so that they will be safe? Things like that. Maybe we should save for them. These are worries which consume us so much that we won't have time for God at all. And Swami always tells, God is like someone in a feast. God is like someone who is waiting outside when people throw their remaining, that only God eats. Because we have already served the best of everything to other people. Only at the end of the day, when we don't have any strength in the body, any money with us, then we reach out to God. And God, when we will say, God, we will give you something. So I think we have to change that order. I think I am first, others, my family is second, and then God comes third, something like that. But we have to change it and say God first, others second, then I last. This is what Swami is talking about, because if we go from I to I first, others second, and God last, then it is worldly love. So I think we have to ask our question. We can, gopis have already become naturally like that. But I think we can ask our questions. How much of my time am I offering to God? How much of my effort and strength am I offering to God? How much of my money or resources am I offering to God? These are questions we can ask. And once we ask the question, we will know. We will offer the best to God. We will offer the best of everything to God, which is what the Gopikas would have done. They were waiting for a chance to see Krishna, spend time with him. They were waiting for him to come and eat. When they cooked, they were waiting, hoping that Krishna would come. So their focus is completely different. And then we also, once you love God, we don't have to worry about us loving others, because God, the love will flow from God to them also. I think that was something we forget. We think we have to separate love and first show it to them, and then only we will love God. But Swami will say, if you love God, you are actually loving everyone in this world. So the Gopikas had reached a stage where they don't have to consciously do this. When they woke up the thought of Krishna, not about their children, husband, nothing like that. Maybe they would have neglected their work, but the work usually gets done. If they are not doing, Krishna will come and do it for them. You know, that's the story of Krishna. But I know we may not be there. But I think if we are reading this passage today, that itself is a blessing for us to read, so that we can ask every day, how much am I waking up with the thought of God? Am I going to sleep with the thought of God? Is that is the last thought? Am I, during the day, am I thinking of him all the time? When I eat, am I thinking whether God has eaten? When I drink something, has God drunk? These are questions we can ask. We don't worry about it. We'll say, God is eating from somewhere, no problem. I'll have to make sure, my children eat, or, things like that. So I think ultimately it's bhava. And I think that's all I would say. In our thought, we should ask every time. Slowly, I think gradually we'll improve, I'm sure. That's my understanding. I will stop here. Uncle Gopal, and please.
Sai Ram. Thank you for your answer. And I was thinking about beautiful Chinnakatha that Swami gives about attachment and samsaram. And you probably know the story about this sadhu and the young man. And the young man was worried about his family, and sadhu was telling him, this is all attachment. To prove it, I'll give you a pill, and you swallow that pill and go home, and then within a few minutes, you'll pass out. And let's see what all your relatives are telling about you, so. And so this, and later I will come and may wake you up. So this man swallowed the pill, and within a few minutes in his home, he passed out. So first of all, everybody started crying, and the wife said, what am I going to do without you? We have children to get married. Then the father-in-law says, I'm the head of this family. What am I going to do? And it goes on and on, and everybody was crying. And finally, when the sadhu comes inside the home and says, what is the problem? And they all saying, sadhu, this person is suddenly, he passed away. So then sadhu says, I'll give you some medicine. If any of you drink this, that you will die, and this young man will wake up. So they went to the mother, they went to the father, they went to the wife. Nobody wanted to drink that water. And finally they said, sadhu, you have no attachment at all. Why don't you drink it? So, and this is what it is. So the attachment is something like this. And finally, sadhu poured some water on the man, and he got up, and he was teaching the man what is all this samsara is all about. Thank you.
Sai Ram, Uncle, thank you. To add a little spice, actually, when the fellow died, everyone was crying and saying, "Oh God, I should have taken me instead of him." They were all crying like that. But when the reality came and when they were really asked to do that, they were not very happy. I think this is the same story of Valmiki also. Valmiki also said, I'm doing it for my family. And then he was asked, go and ask them whether they will share, take a share of the burden of the sins which were committed. When he went and asked, they said, why should we? Your duty to provide for us. And that also is supposed to have changed him. So that's another story. So I think all of us, all devotees also in the same boat. And one day,
Brother Sitaram was raising his hand.
Oh, then what happened to his hand? It got detached.
Yes, I think so. Brother Sitaram.
Sairam. Sairam. I just wanted to add one more aspect to this discussion. So I think one major difference that Swami used to mention between Gopikas and the devotees of current ages, they are illiterate and you all are literate. So anything that they do, they used to take it very simply. They used to just tell Krishna Arpanam, that's all. So I think easiest way for us is just do not overthink about what is devotion, how can I become Gopika, am I offering it in the right way or not? Instead of that, just have full faith and just tell Swami, I offer this to you. Whether he accepts it or not is secondary, but at least the first step, at least for people like me, is just offer it. That's all. Do not think too much that what does Bhagavad Gita say, what does Geetha Vahini say, what does that say, this say. I think this is how Gopikas were so simple in their devotion, and we all know how simple Swami is. He's not that complicated. So I think I thought I'll mention about that, because there is also a joke around. I don't know if you all have heard. Why are there so many diseases these days? Somebody asks, and one of the old men say that because there were no many doctors like today in the olden days. So because the doctors have increased, diseases have increased. We don't know. That's a question to be asked. But in the same way, I think the simpler the devotion is kept, the closer the God is what I feel. Sairam.
Sairam Sitaram.
Sorry, Uncle, just to clarify, so like you often mentioned how the Gopikas didn't have any body consciousness. So, for them, they didn't even feel that they were not doing their duty because they didn't identify anything as their own duty. But like for us, as long as we have this sense of body consciousness, then we still have to do our duty, right?
I think the Gopikas did what they had to do, but the thing is, they were so caught up in, I think, thinking of Krishna that they forgot about themselves. And so, but I think, because you said, we are still in that state where we identify with the body. So I think we have to make conscious effort. So it is nothing. It's like, when we learn to drive, Gopikas are driving as if they are seasoned drivers. But, we are learning to drive. So sometimes we forget to turn the steering. Sometimes we may forget to press the clutch or brake. We may not put the signal on and all that. So our situation is like that. So we have to consciously learn. Okay, we have to turn the steering. So things like that. So in the same way, because we are so caught up in this world, we are with the samsara. We are in the family. We are living with our family members and in the society. So we have to consciously detach ourselves from our work sometimes to think of God. I think it's like, there are some people who are workaholics. They go to work. First, we start working because we want for our livelihood, so that family can be looked after. But after some time, our work itself will take over. We want to grow in the workplace. We want to make more money. We may work for 12 hours, for 18 hours. 20 hours like that. And then we lose track of why we started working in the first place. And we just get so caught up in a rat race also sometimes. So I think it's the same thing with the world. Our own situation is like that, because we are caught up in this world. And because what happens is, if people around us are also not having the same focus, if their focus is worldly, we will get dragged along with them. I think that's what happens to everyone. We can say we think of the Lord, we are chanting His name, but if people around us are so caught up in the worldly success, we also get dragged along with that. How much ever we may say we have devotion, but the Gopika's situation was completely different. They were simple people, they were illiterate, but the reality is they had reached such a state of evolution in devotion through their previous lifetimes. It's not very easy for us to get to that point. So we have to consciously remind ourselves that we should not get caught. I think that's my understanding. I hope. Sorry, it's a long-winded answer to that question.
Just so, like, as long as we have body consciousness, we will have experience all these different forms of love, like Vatsalya, so we do have, there's no other choice. We'll have to experience all of those different forms of love. And then maybe over lifetimes, we realize that it's a depreciating type of love. And because if I felt completely satisfied in myself, I wouldn't have gotten into a family life. Like, I did that because I felt not, happy, I think, right? And you also mentioned how much time we think of God, can we dedicate more time to God? But so I guess being more involved in a Sai Center, because it's like a volunteer thing, is one form of doing that, I guess, because you're spending more of your time. But then if you also get attached there, then I guess I feel like that's also a trap. Sometimes we can get attached, even we start off doing it as we're doing this for Swami, but then we start to feel, I guess, those same forms of feelings of attachment in those activities as well.
See, attachment is like a chewing gum, wherever you put it, it will stick there. So if we have attachment, and if we go to a Sai Center, we'll get attached to people there, things there. So ultimately, we have to overcome the attachment, and when we go to Sai Center, we need to be very clear, I think, why we went there. And of course, if we attached, we will realize the pain, and then that should. So I think that's my understanding. Sorry, others can. Brother Sitaram, I think a few people raised their hand and dropped.
Yeah. Just one thing, brother. Just one thing, Saram, brother. See, when you are really has a devotion to Lord, I think duty come along with it. So duty you will be fulfilling that too. Without you will have that conscious too. Without duty, you just will not have just a devotion. That will not, I don't think that will drive towards a real devotion. So by fulfilling your duty only, that will take you to the devotion too. This is my way of thinking. I'm just sharing. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Yes, I think Brother Sitaram, you raised your hand.
Sairam. I was just listening to Kalyani sister's comments on, depreciating Vatsalyam and all those feelings, or going to centers and getting attached there. I think it may not be the right understanding, is what I think. See, the love that Gopikas are experiencing, they are seeing it in every form of love. They are not telling that love is the only form, right? Love doesn't have a form, but it is taking form of Vatsalya or these attachments to certain activities. Because I think once Swami told MBA boys, why are the cars made? Like somebody, they had a very similar question. where they asked Swami, we do not want to go to the outside world. We'll get attached to everything. We want to be with you only, always. We will do your service. We'll stay in ashram. Any work you give, we will sweep the floor also. That kind of desperation they were asking Swami. And Swami asked the question, why are cars made? Are they made for filling up the warehouses or to drive on the roads? So I think if we are not able to utilize this opportunity of having the body, having these various forms of love, with the understanding that the love, which is basis for all this, then it is a wasted opportunity for us to even experience all these satsangs, all the associations that Swami has created for all of us. I think we should take these as opportunities to understand the basic principle, yet live in all these things. Right? Otherwise, we cannot escape from this. We should not escape from this. In fact, we should utilize these things. Is my humble understanding. Sairam.
Sairam, thanks, brother. Yes, brother Thasan.
Sairam, brother. So we are going to the Sai Center to learn the Atmic Vidya. So that is one of the best place you can learn so many things. But when you're doing any action or anything, that is action is the karma is the best thing that we can reach to the Lord also when we do it with the Niskama karma. But when you come to the love, the reason Swami is saying only with the bhakti towards Lord mean that is the only love it can grow. And when you are showing the other love, it's not going to grow. It's going to one day it's going to fall down. So and you end up with upset and everything. For an example, you're taking care of the kids. One day they're going to leave you and go. So then eventually you're going to have sad and everything. So most of the time you spend the time with the other worldly thing. When you come to the end of the life, then now you are thinking about the Lord. That's too late for that one. So you have to believe that love that can be developed and that can be grown. So you have to do Swami's work, then you get the blessing of Swamis. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother. Thank you. Yes, Sister Shivani, please.
Just practical question. If you can throw some light, what is sadhana? Like, as we said, that we have to take sadhana where we're remembering our Lord, Sai Krishna, constantly. So we are living in this yuga where I'm not that strong yet. And my sadhana is to reach to that level. So what happened is, yes, you read, you meditate, you reflect, and you said, yes, tomorrow, you know what, I have learned today, I'm going to be a little stronger. But you're not there yet. So when you face the world or people, you get affected because you're not in 24 hours or 12 hours, you have not reached to that level. You thought, but you're not there yet. And then it's just basically back to square one where you were because you're not there. So my dilemma is, to me, sadhana, if I'm wrong, or Bhagawan has said to all the students, those who have, fortunate to hear Bhagawan, what he said, my understanding is, or is it okay if until I reach to that point where I'm strong enough and say, yes, I see Bhagawan and I'm okay, nothing affects me wherever I go because I'm strong enough. I'm not strong enough. Until I reach to that level, I limit my interaction with the real world. Limit. I'm not saying just cut off. I'm saying limit because I want to really become stronger. It's just a practical, because that's where I'm struggling. I want to take sadhana, but that sadhana stays for 8 hours, 12 hours. Then I'm again back to there because I'm in this, rigmarole of this world. And I'm like, I need to kind of limit myself with this interaction. Then only I can, until I'm strong enough, when I go there, nothing affects because my Bhagwan is with me. I constantly see him everywhere, in everything. But I keep forgetting him after 8 hours. Sorry, this is just a question which was really troubling me last couple of weeks.
Sairam, sister.
Is sadhana?
See, I think Anyone would like to comment on sister's question? She's asking about sadhana. Sister, there was a quotation which we read, excerpt from Swami's discourse. Where yesterday, in the Sanskrit class, it was shared. So what Swami is saying is, just having the bhava does not help. Just having a bhava alone does not help. Sadhana is needed. Because bhava is very temporary. But sadhana is practical. I'm reminded of this Hanuman and Vibhishana discussion. When Hanuman went to Lanka, Vibhishana met him. And Vibhishana was a great devotee of Rama. He was praying to Rama all the time. And he was a very nice, good person. But he asked Hanuman, I'm in love with Rama. I'm always praying to him. I'm thinking of him. I'm chanting his name. But, I don't have the benefit which you have. You have proximity and you have become Rama's servant. I'm not as lucky as you. Why? Then Hanuman tells, you are thinking of him, you have love for the Lord and all that. But if there's no action which is commensurate with that, then it's of no use. And it was at that time Vibhishana realized that his own attachment to his brother and family, the kingdom and all that was a shackle, big shackle. So he took that ultimate role of saying, okay, I will give up everything for the sake of Rama. If I can't do Rama's work here, and if I can't be of any help to Rama, then I'll have to do something. So ultimately sadhana is to practically apply the bhava. See, for example, we will say, we treat everyone as the world as our family, we will say, everyone is go to Sai Center and say all our brothers and sisters. But in reality, are we behaving like that? If someone from the center comes, will you treat them the same way you treat your own biological brother? Otherwise, we can think, oh, they are all my family and all that. But how much is in action are we showing that? Will we reserve the best for our family and not the Sai family, if you want to call it? Swami doesn't like the word Sai family also. Swami said, why are you restricting to only people who believe in Swami as family? But so the thing is, it's all expansion ultimately. So I think sadhana is practically applying the bhava in our action to some degree. It's easy to say, oh, I'm offering this to Swami. But how much am I really offering? That is Swami will say empty word. Uttamatala chatta chittanandamu nondada, Swami will say. They're empty words. If I say brothers and sisters, I should really mean it. Otherwise, it becomes uttamatala. It will become empty words. But am I showing it in action? Am I able to do any help to anyone who I consider a brother, even if they are not biological? So I think if we do that, then we can say that bhava has translated into sadhana. So sadhana is not necessarily sitting and doing meditation or singing bhajans or anything like that. But in everything which we do, if we can think, can we share this equally with everyone else? Are we reserving this to our people, ours? Our time is first for this and then for others. All that I think we have to ask. I think Gopikas will say first offering is to Krishna. With the time, effort, everything they will offer to Krishna first. And then they will do. So that their order is completely reversed. I think when they wake up in the morning, they should ask, what am I doing for God today? What am I doing for God today? I think it's a question we can ask. I think we can, at the end of the day, we can ask ourselves, what have we done for God today? I think these are some questions I think we can ask until we reach the state of Gopikas. There it's automatic. I hope, sorry, I don't know whether I answered your question. I just...
No, definitely. Thank you. A simple question. What am I doing today? Why do I have to, just...
Every day morning we have to ask. The 24 hours today, what have I done offered to Swami? Not to say whatever I am doing, I am offering to him.
What am I doing?
Absolutely not. That is just empty words then. I have to do something consciously, practically. This what Hanuman's lesson to Vibhishana. He asked him, how many times have you gone and seen Sita? Okay. So something can be done. And I think that's what Sai Ram sister. Sadhana versus Bhava. Kalyani, you have your question.
Uncle. So I just want to clarify one thing, like from what we read. So Swami saying, if you have uninterrupted flow towards God, that's bhakti. But if you have vatsalya or icha or vinaya, videya, if you have those things, then you don't have bhakti.
No, I know. See, and they are not mutually exclusive. Okay, they are not mutually exclusive, but they should not consume you so much that you have neglected devotion to God.
Because then aren't you separating it? Because if you have a little bit of videya, you're still separating.
I think, no, Sister Aruna answered this question because, you see, once you have love for God, you will treat everyone as an embodiment of God. So, see, you have respect for God, you have love for God, you have friendship with God. So all your qualities are actually accentuated. So when you are in that state, if you encounter anyone, you will treat them with the same feeling. This is not a one-to-one relationship. You and God and no one else exists. No. When you think of God and you are in that state of love for God, anyone you encounter, that relationship, that interaction will be suffused with the same love, which is perfect love. So if your child comes, you will feed the child as if you're feeding God.
So then would you say that's vatsalya or would you say that's bhakti?
Bhakti.
So
once you have bhakti, you have everything. It subsumes everything under this. It is not mutually exclusive.
But why can I say, okay, I have vatsalya, I have maitreyi, I have vinaya, videya. So then I'm seeing God in all those people, and my love is expressing as those different things when I interact with those people.
Swami would say, make the stone God, don't make God the stone. So, in the sense, if we are already, it's a worldly relationship, we can't say, oh, this is divine. I think that's what you're asking.
I feel like it's very similar and I'm having a hard time seeing the difference.
Yeah, so I think the issue is, we can't, without cultivating devotion, we cannot transmute our vatsalya into devotion.
Okay.
Without cultivating devotion independently, we will not be able to transmute vatsalya or mitra, friendship into devotion.
Okay. Okay, so it's like if I increase my devotion, then my vatsalya will be raised like a little bit higher, like a bit more pure.
Exactly. That's my understanding. Sorry about it. I hope it's okay. But we cannot, without cultivating devotion with God one-on-one, you cannot transmute all your other relationship into devotion. It's not possible, is my understanding, but others can share. Because then it becomes mind playing tricks. Swami will say that's Brahma, not prema. Okay, that's delusion, not love. Yes, Brother Thasan.
Yes, Saram, brother. So love has different names. So we have to find out which love you want, which love is going to grow. If we take affection, if we take affair, is that affair going to give a good solution for us? One day is going to give trouble. So the bhakti is the only love towards the God. It's never going to give any trouble like affair. So that will grow. That will get, you will get the bliss, and you'll understand the Satchit Anand. You'll get the bliss, and you'll understand the understand the attain the God. So then other love all end up with trouble. Thank you, Saira.
Very much, brothers. Thank you. Yes, Auntie Sakku. I think
Yes.
it's time up, but
Yeah. Sairam, this is for our Kalyani. Kalyani, don't differentiate any of your, don't think about all this relationship. Have bhakti in you. Just think of Baba, and every time, every person you are doing your duty, don't think about anything. You are thinking of Swami and offer it. That's it. Don't think whether that's Vatsalyam or that is affection or that is friendship. Nothing. Don't differentiate. Only thing, your heart is full of Baba. You have offered him a great place in your heart, and you are serving all your relationships with that love, and you will not get confused. More we think, as Sitaram says, more we think, we become confused. The Gopikas were illiterate and there were no complications. They only knew Krishna, nothing else. Think like that and your life will be much, much happier and much smoother. This is what what I heard, this is what I gained. So I'm sharing with you. Thank you, Saira.
Saira Mati, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. It's 4:33. We will be, I think, starting chapter. I don't know whether we have completed all this today, but we'll be starting, I think, chapter 23 next week. 22, I think. Sorry, 22. Maybe complete this discussion and we'll move on to chapter 22. Sairam, everyone, and we'll meet next week. We'll close with Samastaloka. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Sairam.
Thank you.
Saira.
Bye.